Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the...
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yum. It's like a treat.
Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. As you can see, I'm in a different location. I'm actually at a client's studio doing the program today. So, if we wind up with a little, a few technical issues here and there, I apologize in advance. But hey, we're just making it happen. We're going to try and make it happen for you. And unfortunately, so we're here. So we're going to be able to have a good time. Do us a favor, if you could, just go ahead and go to however you're partaking of the program. If you're partaking of it live, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, just go ahead and give us a shout out, whether you watch us on YouTube or Facebook or you're watching us on Rumble. Give us a holler. Let us know that you're partaking. For example, the podcast, you might notice I'm looking down a lot. I'm looking down because my computer's right here. So I got to see. Normally, I keep everything right around eye level, and unfortunately have not been very successful in being able to do that in this setup today. But, do me a favor. Don't let it be a distraction. All right? I will try. I'll get into it today, shall we? And let's start off with a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with Hitman Industries. If you're looking to do either a rebuild on your current rifle or you're just looking to do a brand new build, right? Go there. You need to go to hitmanindustries.net. They have rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you today. Great count, so make sure you let them know. It's Hitman Industries. Then you've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives at all levels of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Go to their website and check them out, cragop.org. That's cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, join CRA. And then you've got Hog Holsters. That's HAWG Holsters, helping Americans. Are you looking for something more tactical, inside the waistband, outside the waistband, whatever firearm you have, whatever additional accessories, optics, or even lights that you may have. Trust me, they have the setup for you. Just go to hogholsters.com. Make sure you use the discount code The Rundown. It's right up there, all caps, no spaces, all is one word, and get a discount on The Rundown. So check them out today. And then finally, if you're looking for outdoor gear, whether it's cold weather, hot weather, or wet weather, whether you're looking for hats, boots, you're looking for jackets, you're looking for backpacks, you're looking at gear.com. Veteran owned and operated, right? Great pricing, fantastic selection, fast shipping. Check them out today, uscombatgear.com. All right, that will then bring us to our first story of the day. A lot of this was reported on yesterday, but I'll be honest with you, I had to go ahead and I had to comment on this because it was something that has just really, really, really been eating at me. And that has to do with Donald Trump over the weekend made a comment. He was talking about, and you've probably already seen the commentary, so I probably don't even need to tell you about it, but I'll tell you about it anyway. He was talking about how China is basically building a bunch of factories in Mexico so that they can ship, it's going to be a 100% tariff on every single car that you send up. We're not going to allow you to do that and get around having to pay American workers, right? We're not going to have you undercut our market. He said, now that's what's going to happen if I get elected. He's saying, basically talking about Donald Trump. He's like, if the other guy gets elected, he's talking about Joe Biden, it's going to be a bloodbath. Now, the term bloodbath is actually a term that is very commonly used by the media, but it's referring specifically to it in the media, going out of their way, talking about Donald Trump and his overreaction, or basically talking about him and quote unquote bloodbaths. It says here, Representative Mike Turner on Sunday said Sunday it was clear that former President Donald Trump's reference to a bloodbath should he lose in the November election pertained to the auto industry, not a surge of political violence. At a rally at a rally in Ohio on Saturday. Trump said, "Now if I go if I I'm sorry. Now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for our country." Now, once again, in talking about this, you have a lot of people. I'm trying to find here. Okay, see, these are all the Republicans who are talking about it. So these are Republicans. So you had people literally saying, by the way, you had Democrats literally saying that, well, he's promoting violence. He is in fact encouraging. They're saying that he is in fact encouraging political violence with his statements. Now, I don't know if it was because they didn't lie. Either way, they should know that, yeah, you should probably go and listen to what someone says in context. Now, we already know that they don't do that. We already know that that's not their thing, that they're not interested in the true also accepted the interpretation of Trump's bloodbath. See, they're calling it an interpretation, but all you had to do was go read it. It says, with regard to the auto workers that he was talking to, he is showing them, or he's telling them, what has been an economic downturn for them. He told host Dana Bash on CNN's State of the Union. Then you have Senator Bill Cassidy. He's a Republican speaking on NBC's Meet the Press. Also said he was dubious about the uproar over his language. Now, the funny part about this is I'm looking here. I'm trying to figure, see, they don't even have their responses to what it was. Well, all I will tell you is, look, they went out of their way, once again, to be like, well, he's promoting violence. He's promoting violence because he's used the word bloodbath. And then you go and I saw it on Ben Shapiro's show. I saw it on Matt Walsh's show. They did it on. They talked about it on Louder with Crowder. I mean, all of the shows were all running basically a montage of Democrats, of media personalities insinuated with what's going on. Okay, so now I'm being told we have no audio. Okay, well, maybe you didn't have audio there for a second. Well, we had it, now it's gone. Okay, so evidently it may be because I'm switching from one thing to another, but both of my things are showing that I got audio, so I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, we'll work on it. We will attempt to do better. Anyway, but as you can see, or as we know now, these folks are doing everything they can to lie on Donald. What they don't realize is that now the public realizing it has caught on what they've done. They recognize that they don't criticize Joe Biden, even though he is fully, worthy of being criticized. We know that they lie about it. How do we know they lie? Something's going wrong, and they're completely ignoring the reality that most people are dealing with, which is in places like California, unemployment is rising and salaries are dropping. At the same time, costs for everything are still going up. In fact, gas prices have just started to go up again, approaching $5 a gallon here in the state of California. But, well, we know that they're lying. We also know that in a case like this, where he says there's going to be an economic bloodbath, all you have to do is go to YouTube and search the clip, and you find out and you hear it in its context, and you realize that they're full of crap. That's what's going to happen. It is only going to make him stronger when people realize just how much the establishment, we're talking the corporate establishment, we're talking the media establishment, we're talking the Democrat establishment, and some of even the Republican establishment. Bad things they say about him, the more it just helps him out. I don't know what these folks are thinking, but all I can tell you is seems to be working just fine for him. So y'all keep doing what you're doing, because all you're doing is feeding Donald Trump. All you're doing is making it more likely that he is going to be the next president of the United States. Okay, moving right along. Google's election interference. Now, we know that the media has gone out of their way to try and, or Google and a lot of the tech companies have gone out of their way to try and say that one of their big goals is to fight misinformation or disinformation. But now we're finding that, and by the way, doing so specific to get away with that, or at least they haven't gotten away. Well, let me clarify. They did get away with it because it's already now behind us. But now we know that they have actually been caught. So this is a story coming out of Breitbart. Notes that Media Research Center that Google interfered with 41 U.S. elections over 16 years. And it says here, a study by the Media Research Center alleges that Google has repeatedly interfered in U.S. elections, favoring leftist candidates and suppressing conservative voices. Google, the ultra-woke tech giant and that dominates online search and advertising, has been accused of staggering pattern of election interference spanning over 16 years and 41 separate instances, according to a bombshell report by the Media Research Center, or MRC. The study, conducted by MRC's Free Speech America division, levels severe allegations against the Silicon Valley giant, claiming it has systemically utilized its immense technological prowess to sway electoral outcomes in favor of left-leaning candidates. Quote, MRC researchers have found 41 times where Google interfered in elections over the past 16 years, and its impact has surged dramatically, making it ever more harmful to democracy. In every case, Google harmed the candidates, regardless of party, who threatened its left-wing candidate of choice, asserted Don Schneider, vice president of MRC Free Speech America, and Gabriella Pariso, the division editor. The study cites a litany of apparent infractions ranging from algorithmic manipulations to outright censorship. Among the most egregious claims are allegations that Google favored Barack Obama over his Republican rivals John McCain in 2008 and Mitt Romney in 2012, refused to specify a derogatory, quote, Google bomb, end quote, smearing Rick Santorum during the 2012 GOP primaries, and excluded potentially damaging autofill results for Hillary Clinton in 2016, while not extending the same courtesy to Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders. Now, here's what that means. So a couple of different things. Number one, when you start talking about the autofill, you know how when you start typing something in and then it autofills it in, normally it'll fill in the rest of it, and so it'll take you to where you want to go to see that content. Well, what they're saying is they turned that off for a bunch of stuff for Hillary Clinton in 2016. They also oftentimes if something is there was content that was utilized that would have helped John McCain that actually got suppressed, or if it had gotten out, it would have helped John McCain, and they didn't suppress it because they knew it would have helped John McCain. Either way, the point is that they're interfering in elections. Now, 230 protections because they're supposedly not publishers. They're not supposed to be manipulating the content that comes in. They're not supposed to be picking winners and losers. But that is in fact what they are doing. They are picking winners and losers. And what's even worse is they're picking winners and losers in elections. That's right. They are picking winners and losers in the stuff that they're doing needs to go down as a campaign contribution and have a dollar amount tied to it. If they have been hired by these folks to work on their campaign, then it needs to be reflected in the campaign statements, and it's not. Which means we're not just talking presidential elections, just so you know. No, it means that there's also some other elections that probably have been impacted by these folks. So anyway, I think it's definitely something that we need to be concerned about. It's something we definitely need to look at. I will definitely tell you, I think that it'll be interesting. I'm going to say I would not be surprised if he had some words with some folks over there at Google, or there was a hearing or two that took place dealing with this particular topic. But Lord knows what's going on. All right, SCOTUS, that's the Supreme Court of the United States, is actually probing New York, especially Letitia James, their New York Attorney General, how their attacks on the NRA. Now, you know that they have gone after the NRA. Well, they've gone after the NRA. They've gone after, investigated. They have subpoenaed. They have drug into court and sought to bankrupt them. And that is exactly what they've been doing with the NRA. Well, Supreme Court decided that they were going to look into it. And the story that I'm quoting is actually, it's, where is it at? Here it is. Oh, that ain't it. Here it goes. It's actually from the USA Today. So I got to admit, it's a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? A hack job. But it makes the points that I want to make. So I wanted to go ahead and utilize it. It says here, ham-handed Supreme Court justices probe how New York discouraged insurers from working with the NRA. And it's actually, no, how they went after them and their business model and they sought to put them out of business. But I'll read their version. A majority of the Supreme Court sounded ready Monday to stick with the current standard how much government officials can say about businesses they regulate, but left uncertain how that would resolve a case involving the National Rifle Association. The NRA contends the New York regulators went too far in pressuring insurance companies and banks to stop doing business with the group because of its advocacy. Under Supreme Court precedent, government officials can use their bully pulpit to persuade people or groups to take action but not coerce them. But the New York Department of Financial Services insists that NRA and 3 insurance companies admitted to peddling unlawful policies. Criticism of the NRA by the department superintendent, Maria Vullo, and Governor Andrew Cuomo coincided with the enforcement action rather than dictated it, according to government lawyers. Now, you and I both know, we all know that is a bunch of hooey. We all know that their whole goal was, and by the way, this was insurance that would allow you as an individual, if you wind up in a situation where you have to shoot and defend yourself, it makes it so that you can have some legal representation, right? It makes it so that it's an insurance that it allows you to be able to have what the government's going to wind up doing is they're going to throw the whole kitchen sink at you and then try to get you to plead out, because that's kind of what they do, in particular against law-abiding citizens who decide they want to exercise their Second Amendment right. This gives you actually a fighting and have your say in court. And well, now the Supreme Court is basically looking into what exactly does all of that mean? So let's take a look at what some of the justices had to say. It says, Justice Brett Kavanaugh said he was surprised to see the Justice Department's Solicitor General acknowledging that Vullo may have gone too far in a meeting. Solicitor General is on the other side from you in this case, given that the Solicitor General represents the United States, Kavanaugh said. What's another one here? Neil Katyal, a lawyer representing New York regulators, agreed that the government officials can't coerce action, but the former acting Solicitor General argued if the High Court allows lawsuits to challenge the enforcement from organizations that have already. Why it's going to do that, folks? Because they are. And let's just be real. We have seen Democrats. We saw Barack Obama do it. We've seen Joe Biden do it. In law enforcement and as regulators, or with wielding the regulatory weapon, the regulatory agencies as weapons over political opponents or organizations that they disagree with. There is no doubt that they start to see. And by the way, just so y'all know, if the Supreme Court comes out and says, okay, well, yeah, you can get away with this, I will guarantee you that when Donald Trump is president, do not be surprised. Matter of fact, they're already claiming that Donald Trump is going to do it. Even though he didn't do it at all in his first term, even though he caught a lot of flack from the lock her up crowd, notice that he decided he didn't go after Hillary. He didn't. The case against Donald Trump is the documents case. And in the case of the documents case, he basically did the same thing that she did. He had documents he wasn't supposed to have. She had documents she wasn't supposed to have. Hers were on a server. He had physical documents. They told him to give them up. He, at least supposedly, there is evidence that he tried to have the evidence destroyed. We actually know that she had the evidence destroyed. So, I mean, if there's a case against Donald Trump, then there's definitely a case against Hillary Clinton. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. You know, what's good for the gander is, or what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Just saying. This film is catching a whole lot of flack. I wanted to go ahead. Let me go ahead. I'm going to play the. Did I upload it here? Yes, I did. Here we go. I want you to watch the trailer for this movie, and then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it a little bit on the other side.
America and Christianity are like baseball and apple pie.
Minister?
I've been a Christian my whole life.
I'm a Christian nationalist. I have nothing to be ashamed of because that's what most Americans are.
Is Christian nationalism Christian?
No, it isn't.
We should be blazing forth as a countercultural example, and instead,
that in being some form of authoritarianism.
Being a Christian is about the values of inclusion. Christian nationalism is certainly not based on the values of the gospel.
God wants America to be saved.
They're told over and over and over again that you're in danger. You need to fight if you don't want to lose your country.
What happens to the people who don't believe this stuff?
We are on the precipice.
God is on our side. We're taking our nation back.
The thing that keeps me up at night is that we lose democracy.
does that seem possible?
Yes.
Christianity at its best is committed to love and truth and justice. If we do this right, what a country we will be.
So, this is a piece from Fox News. It's the civil rights organization says Rob Reiner's film, Panicking About Christian Nationalism, warrants Oscar for religiophobia. And I would tend to agree with that. Let's read a little bit more. It says actor Rob Reiner, a.k.a. Meathead, his documentary warning about Christian nationalism, quote, God and Country, did poorly at the box office, but is being called one of the year's best examples of religiophobia on the silver screen. The description for the documentary states that the film, quote, looks at the implications of Christian nationalism and how it distorts not only our constitutional republic, but Christianity itself, end quote. The summary also noted that the film features, quote, prominent Christian leaders, quote, and, quote, asks this question: what happens when a faith built on love, sacrifice, and forgiveness grows political tentacles, conflating power, money, and belief into hyper-nationalism, end quote. The Catholic League president, Bill Donahue, leader of the nation's largest Catholic civil rights organization, wrote a withering critique of the film in March. Quote, Rob Reiner, more commonly known as Meathead, see, I knew it, released a movie last month that demonstrates the pervasiveness of religiophobia in Hollywood, Donahue wrote. God and Country is about an alleged threat to American democracy posed by so-called Christian nationalists. The Meathead would have the audience believe that we are on the verge of a theocratic takeover, though few outside of Hollywood and other secular subcircles pay any attention to this fable. Donahue also responds to the Hollywood Reporter's review of the film, which argued, quote, the movement bears an unfortunate similarity to the rise of Nazi Germany, end quote. Donahue declared, shameless is the kind of word to describe this characterization. Now, here's the reason why this is important, and why that recognition is important, because keep in mind, their whole goal is to basically take people who politically disagree with them and label them to be believe that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, you are a Christian nationalist. Declaration of Independence, right? Let's ignore the fact that that is at the root of all that our founding fathers believed, that the point of the Constitution, or in particular the Bill of Rights, was to enumerate fundamental human rights, right? And to state that the federal government, if you don't believe that your rights come from government, if you don't believe they come from Sacramento or from Albany, New York, or from Tallahassee, Florida, or from Washington, D.C., if you don't believe that, well, then you are a Christian nationalist. That's what that whole thing is about. Now, what's interesting is I look at the people that they claim are quote-unquote Christian leaders, and every single one of them are leftist activists. Every single one of them. I'll put it to you this way. If you do not believe in say a Jesus did, but it is something to aspire to, the only way in which we have that righteousness on our side is by asking Jesus to forgive us of our sins. That's what we as Christians believe, right? But there's still something that we should aspire to, that we should work towards, right? To try and do better and to be better. We also recognize, and Caesar's what is Caesar's. But as we play our biblically mandated role to be involved in civil government, we're supposed to bring our values with us. And that includes our Christian values. And as the Bible says, choose from among them able men, such as fear God, lovers of truth, haters of covetousness, and place such to be rulers over the. That's what our Bible tells us. So, and by the way, even if our Bible didn't tell us that, we have a right, just like the atheist, just like the Jew, just like the Muslim, we have a right to bring our values with us to the voting booth. We have a right to do that. And then what values do we want representing us? What set of values or mix of those values do we want there? That's kind of how this whole thing works. But some people don't want it that way. They want to shut people up. Those are the progressive, the modern day, the new neo-Marxists, the cultural neo-Marxists, having a conversation about the issues. Well, that doesn't sit right by them. They are not interested in that. They are not interested in that one bit. Not one bit. Anyway. All right, let's see now. That then brings us to our parting shots. Hold on. There we go. All right, that then brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to Hog Holsters, use discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. All right, today we're going to go back to the Babylon Bee, and we're going to use the thing that they had over here that I found to be hilarious. So we're going to use it. And it's basically 9 times Trump clearly called for bloodshed. Okay, let's see what they have to say about that. Let's see. Number 1, when he told an actor to break a leg, wishing physical pain and suffering on an innocent Hollywood entertainer is no laughing matter. Number 2, when he said the chocolate cake at Mar-a-Lago was to die for, calling for all his fanatical followers to die for their cause, of course. Number 3, when he said he was going to, quote, crush the competition, literally to blow up the bathroom, an obvious bomb threat. When he told Kevin McAllister to go home, or he told Kevin McAllister in Home Alone 2 that the lobby was, quote, down the hall and to the left, clearly code for genocide against the political left. Okay, this is funny. All right, number 6. When he said the New York Jets were getting, quote, getting slaughtered, he obviously planned to murder the entire team. Number 7. When he said, make America great again, the phrase harkens back to a time when there was great bloodshed, like, the Civil War? Number 8. When he told Melania she looked drop-dead gorgeous, praying for that poor woman's safety. And then number 9, on January 6th, when he said, you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. There's never been a more dangerous and violent statement made in American history. Yep, there you go. There is our good friend, Mr. Donald Trump, clearly a violent agitator. Anyway, folks, that's going to be about it today. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But before we do, we'll give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with Hitman Industries. Get rifle and pistol length barrels today. Just go to hitmanindustries.net. You've got the California Republican Assembly. If you want to be a part of California's future today, join CRA. You got Hog Holsters, where you can go to hogholsters.com, use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word. Get your Hog Holster today on a discount. And then you've got that. We will be calling it a day. We will be back tomorrow on Hump Day. Until then, y'all take care. Y'all have a good time, and we will holla at you later.